Hi, everyone. Mike White here. Welcome to this week's blog post. A fitting conversation for today is based again on conversations I'm having with my clients across the country and the information and the feedback that we're getting and some things that, may be surprising, may be a common experience that we've had before, but I think it's worth sharing again and making sure that we as mortgage professionals are conveying a message to the public that things are not as simple as they appear, and sometimes things are not as complicated as they appear. But vast generalizations about loans and things like that are bad, and that much of what has to happen is really personal and really specific to the individual person's transaction abilities and situation. And what I mean by that, and it's why this week's conversation is called "Enough is Not Good Enough," is in the last few weeks, I've had some conversations with completely different loan originators in completely different markets, but a parallel appeared between them, which is people coming in either already under contract or been looking at properties and now want to get serious, and they're coming to the table for a pre-approval, making the assumption that they're good to go, and very quickly finding out that their assumptions about what their capabilities are or weren't really all that well. And here's the other problem: some of them actually had pre-approval letters from other lenders for loans, products, programs, amounts that these people were never qualified for, even though they had a letter saying that they were quote unquote approved for certain things. The people that had those letters didn't meet the program or the guidelines or the dollar amounts in any way, shape, or form for what they had assumed in the letter was accurate. And that becomes, a real issue, because there are some people in our industry, and we know it probably doesn't come as a surprise to you, that there are people in this industry who don't do a really good job, or even, a mediocre job analyzing information or knowing products, programs, guidelines, and they make some assumptions. And in a different case that I've dealt with just the other day was, a woman and her husband came in for, they were going to get a house because their friends got a house. And they knew they had, and the wife actually said, we have great credit, and, this will be no problem. And, our credit's better than our friends, and our income is higher than our friends. And we should be able to at least be able to get the same type of house that they got in the same area that they got. That's what we're looking for. And what they didn't realize when the numbers were run, that they were nowhere near close to being able to qualify for a loan anywhere near what they were doing, because they had no clue that the cars that they just recently had purchased, even though they had great credit, their car payments on the vehicles that they had literally amounted to about a third of their gross income. And there was no way that they were going to be able to qualify for a mortgage even remotely close enough to what they wanted. And while her credit itself was good enough, that wasn't good enough. That becomes the point. People make assumptions. I make more than my friends. I have better credit than my friends. Ergo, I can do what they did or better than they did. And the answer is no, not true. So many people lack the facts to navigate the entire process. And we have discussed this over and over again about financial literacy. And I don't think, as an industry, to be honest with you, that the mortgage industry does a really good job in promoting financial literacy. And I think we just have to look at our school systems and realize, starting with the removal of things like home economics, in high school. Kids nowadays have very little use for understanding budgets. Heck, many of them have challenges identifying legal U.S. currency because they don't use money. And so, you look at some of the currency, and I've literally had people in my own family look at money and say, wow, I haven't seen that before, because they haven't touched currency since they started changing the 100, the 50, and the $20 bill to the new series. And when you think about that, that's kind of puzzling that so many people have become debit card dependent, where cash is no longer a part of their lives. Again, the number one worst case scenario, which is using your debit card for everything and then just checking your balance on your phone and saying, well, got no more money in my account, so I'll wait till I get paid again. That type of financial illiteracy is devastating. The fact that people don't understand budgets and don't understand that either a great credit score is not a guarantee of getting credit, or the ability to get certain types of credit is not a guarantee that you can get a mortgage loan, or the type of mortgage loan, or the amount of mortgage loan you need. And I think that's where we have to do better. So as professionals, I think we have to set an example. We have to do a complete job up front going through it. More important now than ever, if you haven't done a video on your pre-approval process, if you haven't done your video and put it on YouTube or had it on your website, if you're not sharing your video with the steps that you take to actually pre-approve your borrowers, and share that with your borrowers and their buyer's agents, and have it posted in a place where people can see it. If you're not sharing these messages through social media, you're doing yourself a disservice in that of your community, because there's so much misinformation and disinformation out there. There are many people who think they can buy a house who can't, and even more disturbing, people who don't think they can buy a house who can. And it's up to us, the professionals, to get the information out there and put it out there in a way that people can see it, understand it, and benefit from that opportunity. Again, as always, I think we need to be pushing more with our expertise, especially in our local markets. I think if you're not doing these videos and if you're not sharing on social media, you're doing yourself a disservice. And as always, if you need help in this area, if you want some direction in this area, it's as simple as mike@imtcoaching.com. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.